Good evening. It's Friday the 22nd of August and here's what's making news around the world on World News Tonight. Trade deal. U.S. and European Union finalized landmark trade pact paving way to auto tariff relief and economic stability. Peace talks. Netanyahu announces start of critical Gaza ceasefire talks amidst ongoing conflict. Heroic rescue. Brave neighbors risk lives to save pets from raging house fire gaining praise.
From Colombo, this is World News Tonight with Amarsha Fernando.
Good evening once again. The United States and the European Union have finalized a framework trade deal, ending months of uncertainty for industries and consumers. The agreement includes U.S. auto tariff relief in the coming weeks, commitments on energy and technology trade, and EU investments in strategic U.S. sectors, aiming to strengthen transatlantic economic ties.
The US and the European Union on Thursday locked in a framework trade deal reached last month. It includes a 15% US tariff on most EU imports. European Commissioner for Trade Maros Sefcovic.
This is the most favourable trade deal the US has extended to any partner. A wide range of sectors, including strategic industries such as cars, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors and lumber, will benefit from this cap.
The EU has pledged to eliminate tariffs on all US industrial goods and to provide preferential market access for a wide range of US seafood and agricultural goods. Meanwhile, Washington will take steps to reduce the current 27.5% tariffs on cars and car parts. The EU said it would aim to ensure lower tariffs apply to its car exports retroactively from August 1st. But they still couldn't get duties lowered for one major sector.
Yeah, the tariffs on the wine, spirits and beer was one of very important offensive interests of the European Union. Unfortunately, here we didn't succeed. I just would like to add one very important word, and this is yet. Because our US colleagues, they know that this is our offensive interest.
US President Donald Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced the deal in July after months of negotiations. The two leaders met again this week as part of talks aimed at ending Russia's war in Ukraine. Both praised their trade framework deal as a historic accomplishment. The joint statement said the deal could be expanded over time to cover additional areas and further improve market access.
A Bangkok court has acquitted former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra of royal defamation charges related to a 2015 interview. The court found insufficient evidence to support the allegations. Thaksin, a prominent political figure, has consistently denied wrongdoing and maintains his loyalty to the monarchy.
The court's decision to acquit Thaksin marks a significant legal victory for the former premier, who has been a central figure in Thailand's political landscape. The case, stemming from a 2015 interview during his exile, had been brought under Thailand's strict lèse majesté law, which criminalizes defamation of the monarchy. Critics argue that the law has been used to suppress political dissent and target opponents of the establishment. Despite his acquittal, Thaksin remains a powerful force in Thai politics, and his influence with the ruling Phai Thai party continues to be significant. The dismissal of the lèse majesté case may bolster his position, but other legal challenges loom. The case against Thaksin was won over 280 lèse majesté prosecutions in recent years, highlighting the ongoing tensions between the royalist establishment and political opposition. Human rights groups view the law as a tool for political suppression, while royalists argue it is necessary to protect the monarchy.
President Lee Jae-myung met with Bill Gates in Seoul to discuss global challenges, focusing on nuclear energy and bioscience innovation. Gates commended South Korea's advancements in bioscience and emphasized the potential of small modular reactions of sustainable energy. These two leaders explored avenues of enhancing cooperation in their fields.
Seeking windows to resolve growing challenges faced by humanity. Nuclear power and bioinnovation topped the discussion between President Lee Jae-myung and tech mogul turned philanthropist Bill Gates. On Thursday, the founder of Microsoft and now chairman of the Gates Foundation paid a visit to the presidential office in Seoul. President Yi commended Gates for his contributions to the world through the Windows operating system, as well as global health and development.
지구와 지구인 전체를 위한 그런 공공적 활동에 대해서 경의를 표하고 우리 대한민국 정부도 함께할 방법을 최대한 찾아보겠습니다.
Gates, meanwhile, noted South Korea's transition from a recipient to a donor of foreign aid, highlighting its role and innovation in advancing global development, such as in tackling child mortality through Korea's bioscience products.
The world has changed a lot, whether it's the geopolitics or the technology of AI. And so you have a huge opportunity to re-examine some of the key strategies and really reinforce the strong role that South Korea plays in solving many of these problems.
He added that while the evolution of artificial intelligence and science brings development and progress, such changes also raise concerns. He pointed to rising healthcare costs in low-income countries, stressing that multinational support is critical. Gates later said at a separate event there could also be partnerships between health agencies and North Korea as a low-income country in the fields of vaccines too, but noted Pyongyang has decided against such cooperation. Addressing the growing demand for power in advanced industries such as AI and semiconductors, Gates suggested small modular reactors could be an effective solution. President Yi expressed Korea's interest in constructing next-generation nuclear power plants. He said many local firms have been developing small reactors, and their presence in the global market is steadily increasing. Korea's second-largest conglomerate, SK, has invested $250 million into TerraPower, an SMR firm founded by Gates. TerraPower is also partnering with the Korean government to develop a global supply chain for advanced nuclear technologies. Visiting Korea for the first time in 3 years, Gates on Thursday also met with local press and politicians at the National Assembly. He said the Gates Foundation is planning to open an office in Korea, citing his frequent interactions with the country's authorities and businesses. He added he always enjoys coming to Korea and hopes to visit every 2 or 3 years.
The Philippines and Australia are set to sign a new defense agreement in 2026, aiming to bolster military cooperation amidst rising tensions in the Indo-Pacific. The pact will facilitate more frequent joint exercises and development in defense infrastructure at 5 Philippine locations, enhancing regional deterrence capabilities.
The forthcoming defense agreement between the Philippines and Australia marks a significant step in enhancing bilateral military relations. Scheduled for signing in 2026, the pact will facilitate more frequent joint military drills, aiming to boost combined operational capabilities and regional deterrence. These exercises are particularly pertinent as both nations seek to address shared security challenges in the Indo-Pacific region. The agreement also includes plans for the development of defense infrastructure at 5 strategic locations in the Philippines, although specific details remain undisclosed. This enhanced defense cooperation comes amid escalating tensions in the South China Sea, where China's assertive actions have raised concerns among neighboring countries. The Philippines and Australia have expressed their intent to counter China's increasingly aggressive activities in the region. In recent months, the Philippine military reported an uptick in the presence of Chinese vessels around the disputed Second Thomas Shoal, coinciding with ongoing joint drills between Canberra and Manila. These developments underscore the growing need for strengthened security partnerships to address regional challenges. The Philippines-Australia Defence Pact is part of a broader strategy to enhance security cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region. The United States has also increased its military presence in the area, conducting joint exercises with the Philippines and other allies. These collaborative efforts aim to promote regional stability and counter potential threats. The alignment of interests among these nations reflects a shared commitment to maintaining peace and security in the Indo-Pacific amid rising geopolitical tensions.
An explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Karachi, Pakistan injured at least 34 people yesterday. The blast ignited fires in the warehouse and nearby shops, causing widespread panic. 4 individuals remain in critical condition. The cause of the explosion is currently under investigation.
A powerful explosion occurred at fireworks warehouse in Karachi's densely populated Sada area yesterday. The blast was followed by several small explosions, igniting fires in the warehouse and adjacent shops. Thick smoke billowed from the multi-story building as firefighters battled the blaze. The explosion shattered windows in nearby shops, injuring pedestrians with flying glass shards. At least 34 people were injured, with 4 in critical condition. The cause of the explosion remains unknown. Emergency responders, including firefighters and ambulances, swiftly arrived at the scene to extinguish the flames and transport the injured to hospitals. The blast damaged several shops and vehicles passing through the area. Witnesses reported widespread panic, with residents fleeing the scene and vehicles hastily leaving the area. Closed-circuit camera footage captured the moment of chaos, showing people running for safety. This incident highlights the ongoing safety concerns associated with fireworks storage facilities in Pakistan. Explosions at such facilities are not uncommon due to lax enforcement of safety protocols. A similar explosion in January 2025 killed 6 people in Mandi Bahadin, Punjab province. Authorities are continuing their efforts to control the blaze and assess the damage caused by the incident.
Let's go in for a short commercial break. More world news coming right after this. And welcome back. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that Israel will begin immediate negotiations aimed at securing the release of all hostages held in Gaza and ending the ongoing war. Netanyahu emphasized that any resolution must be on terms acceptable to Israel, signaling a potential shift towards de-escalation.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Thursday that Israel will begin immediate negotiations for the release of all hostages held in Gaza and an end to the nearly 2-year-old war. He made the comments to soldiers serving in Gaza and said he was meeting commanders to approve plans for capturing Gaza City and defeating Hamas.
I arrived today near the border with Gaza to approve the plans that the Israeli army presented to me and the Minister of Defense for taking over Gaza City and defeating Hamas. I greatly appreciate the presence of the reserve soldiers and of course the regular army for this vital goal. At the same time, I have issued instructions to begin immediate negotiations for the release of all our hostages and an end to the war on terms acceptable to Israel.
On Wednesday, the military called up 60,000 reservists in a sign that the government was pressing ahead with the plan despite international condemnation. Calling up tens of thousands of reservists is likely to take weeks, giving time for mediators to attempt to bridge gaps over a new temporary ceasefire proposal that Hamas has accepted, but the Israeli government has yet to officially respond to. The proposal calls for a 60-day ceasefire and the release of 10 living hostages being held in Gaza by Hamas militants and of 18 bodies. In turn, Israel would release about 200 long-serving Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. The Israeli government has stated that all of the remaining 50 hostages held by militants in Gaza must be released at once. Israeli officials believe that around 20 of them are still alive.
The United Nations has officially declared a famine in northern Gaza, attributing the crisis to actions by the Israeli government. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk warns that the use of starvation as a method of warfare may constitute a war crime. The situation is dire, and with 500,000 people facing catastrophic hunger.
The Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, a global hunger monitor, has officially declared a famine in Gaza's northern region. The IPC reports that nearly a quarter of Gaza's population is experiencing famine conditions, with projections indicating that this number could rise to over 500,000 people by the end of September. The UN attributes this crisis to actions taken by the Israeli government, including restrictions on humanitarian aid and the blockade of essential supplies. The famine has had a devastating impact on children, with the World Health Organization reporting that at least 132,000 children under the age of 5 are at risk of death from acute malnutrition. Emergency treatments such as fortified milk and therapeutic food are in critically short supply, exacerbating the crisis. Doctors Without Borders has described the situation as the worst possible humanitarian catastrophe, highlighting the urgent need for international intervention. The United Nations has called for immediate action to address the famine, with Secretary General Antonio Guterres urging to an end to the blockade and unrestricted access for humanitarian aid. Human Rights Chief Volker Turk has warned that the deliberate use of starvation as a method of warfare may constitute a war crime. Israel disputes these claims, attributing the humanitarian crisis to other factors and accusing Hamas of mismanaging aid.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov stated that President Vladimir Putin is open to meeting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. However, Lavrov emphasized the necessity of thorough preparatory work and raised concerns about Zelensky's legitimacy, given his term expired in May 2024 without elections due to the ongoing martial law.
Now, this is according to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, speaking to members of the media on Thursday, during which he questioned the Ukrainian leader's political legitimacy. President Zelensky had postponed Ukraine's presidential election after his term expired last May, citing martial law. Accordingly, Lavrov claimed Ukraine must first address the issue of who has the authority to seal any future deal between the two countries before a summit between their leaders.
In a devastating day for Colombia, at least 18 people were killed and over 70 injured in two separate attacks attributing to distant factors of the former FARC guerrilla group. A national police helicopter was shot down in Antioquia while a car bomb exploded near a military base in Cali.
A national police UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter conducting cocoa leaf eradication operations in Amalfi, Antioquia, was downed yesterday, resulting in the deaths of 12 officers. The attack is believed to have been carried out by dissident factions of the former FARC guerrilla group. Later the same day, a cargo vehicle laden with explosives detonated near a Colombian Aerospace Force base, killing at least 6 people and injuring 71 others. Authorities attribute the attack to different dissident factions of the former FARC guerrilla group. President Gustavo Petro condemned the attacks and called for designating various armed groups, including drug trafficking cartels and dissident factions, as terrorist organizations that can be persecuted anywhere on earth. He emphasized the need for unified international response to combat these threats.
Time for a short commercial break now. We'll be right back with more world news. And welcome back. Chicago Bears backup quarterback Tyson Bagent has signed a 2-year contract extension worth $10 million, with potential incentive bringing the total of $16 million. During a press conference, Bagent became emotional and reflected on his family's struggles and expressed gratitude for the opportunity which changed their lives.
When Chicago Bears backup quarterback Tyson Bagent signed a $10 million contract extension Wednesday, it didn't just change his life. It changed everything for his family back in Martinsburg, West Virginia, too. Just listen to how he describes it.
Yeah, I think that, a lot of people don't know this, but, my dad is he's my right-hand man, and he didn't even have running water until he was in high school. So there's definitely a lot of things and people that I think I could certainly help with this gift I've been blessed with. I don't really know anybody back at home with any money. So, it feels good. I mean, it's certainly a weight off my shoulders and my family's shoulders.
And there's one more reason that raise is going to come in handy.
I got a little baby girl on the way, so I'm not really trying to buy nothing too crazy right now.
Bagent often credits his parents for his success. It can't hurt that strong arms run in the family. His dad is a world champion arm wrestler. Bagent played D2 college football 10 minutes from his home at Shepherd University, and he entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent. He signed with the Bears as a 4th-string quarterback in 2023. His coaches say what he's brought to the team ever since is worth every penny of that new deal.
To just put my head down and work and to get, where I am now, I mean, it's, too much to put into words.
In West Jordan, Utah, neighbors sprang into action when a house caught fire, rescuing 2 terrified dogs trapped inside. Braving flames and broken glass, they kicked down the front door, entered the smoke-filled home, and carried the pets to safety moments before the house was fully engulfed.
But this teen desperately banging on the front door isn't a mischief maker, he's a hero. The house is on fire, and these guys are concerned their neighbors might be inside. This dad throws himself against the door.
Dad, your shoulder.
Then this guy tries kicking in the door. Still no luck.
Hey, keep going, move! Keep going! There's a dog in there!
The race is on to save the dog. This guy tries kicking in the door again. Another dude joins in. They're in. Moments later,
Grab the dog!
Here's the dog. Turns out there were 2 dogs in there, cowering in terror in the laundry room.
We don't know if there's somebody inside the house. That was definitely the scariest part.
Gabriel Gonzalez and Carter Jacobson are the 2 who kicked the door down.
So I just decided to just start kicking as hard as I could, like a movie. I don't think we were thinking of what's going to happen to us. I don't think that even crossed our mind.
They say they got out just in time.
After we got out, I think it was like 30 seconds to a minute later, the rest of the house was gone.
2 lucky dogs, thanks to the door-kicking heroes.
And with that, we come to the end of today's edition of World News Tonight. With the hopes of seeing you again, I'm Marsha Fernando, and we leave you tonight with the visuals of thousands of boats parading through the festive Amsterdam. Also, don't forget to send us your feedback through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk. or via WhatsApp at 076-805-7933. Prasansa Gunawardhana will be joining you next with the Nightly Business Report. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.